Pedro Sanchez and his Socialist Party are jubilant. They were forced to call elections after failing to get enough support to approve this year's budget, and they've made significant gains as the weekend polls have shown.
The Socialist Party has won the general election, and with that the future has won, and the past has lost.
But Sanchez may be haunted by the same challenges he faced during his previous term in office. His party's won 123 seats in parliament, 50 more than it held previously. But it's still short of a majority in the 350-seat parliament, and will need the support of anti-austerity parties as well as Catalan separatists to form a government.
It will be very difficult to form a government in Spain. It's a classical stalemate. And even if there is a government, they surely won't get along very well. We know that conservatives and social democrats in Spain don't get along at all.
Once in power, the new government will face a long list of economic challenges. Spain's unemployment levels have improved since 2013, but they're still relatively high at 14%. That's twice as much as the 7% average for the Eurozone. Youth unemployment in Spain is even higher at 33%. Madrid is under pressure from international lenders to raise taxes so the government can repay its mounting debts. But appeasing Brussels may be harder with the improved showing of the far-right Vox party in parliament.
Spain's sovereignty won't be broken in Catalonia, it won't be surrendered in Brussels. We are not going to kneel down in front of those who don't respect us.
Analysts say forming a coalition government could take weeks, and even more time will be needed to reach an agreement over much-needed economic reforms. Mobin Nasir, TRT World.
Well, let's get more on the Spanish elections now with Daniel Lacalle in Madrid. He's the Chief Economist of asset management firm Tressis and the economic advisor to the centre-right People's Party. He also ran as a candidate in Sunday's elections and won. Welcome back to the program, Daniel. Firstly, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Now, can we get to Pedro Sanchez's win? Because he did have quite a successful result in the national elections. He didn't manage to get a majority, though, but he still really got a huge tick of approval from the Spanish people. What does this mean for Spain's economic policies going forward?
Well, yes, the Socialist Party won the elections and got a better level of results than the polls were suggesting. But at the same time, it is a hung parliament, and it's very, very unlikely that it will be able to succeed to form a government with the fragmentation of Congress as it is right now. I think that on one side there is obviously a positive result for the Socialist Party, considering that also it came from a very poor result in the past when the ultra left-wing party Podemos started to rise, but the Socialist Party has recovered some of that vote back, but it's still a very difficult process in terms of, one, forming a government, and more importantly, two, finalizing and approving a budget.
Yes, let's talk about his economic agenda. As you say, the reason why these elections were called was because he failed to get his budget passed through Parliament. Now, if Sanchez does manage to form government, what policies are we likely to see in place?
Well, the policies that he wants to implement, we know already, because they are the ones that were actually within the framework and within the spirit of that budget that was not approved. So we're talking about a very aggressive increase in spending and a very important increase in taxes as well. It's basically trying to come back to the policies of 2008 that basically increased increased dramatically current spending and subsidies, while at the same time increased the tax wedge on businesses and families. So we already know more or less what that policy is going to be. It's going to be very difficult on one side to balance the fact that he has been very adamant about complying with the deficit target. That is very difficult with the type of budget that he was presenting. Remember that that budget had an 8.2 billion euro loophole or added deficit from the target. And at the same time, it is also quite difficult because, as the report was saying, the economy is slowing down. So tax revenues are not going to be as robust as they were last year in a period in which he wants to increase dramatically spending. And probably the parties that might help him reach an agreement will demand more spending.
Now, clearly, though, it does show that the Spanish people approve his economic agenda, his extra spending on social welfare programs.
Well, I would say that the economy, unfortunately, has not been a big part of the discussion in this election. I think that the high turnout yesterday in the elections was driven by three, I would say, messages. On one side, the different views about how to tackle the problems with Catalonia. Second, the concerns about the rise of the alternative right party Vox that generated an improvement or an increase in the vote for left-wing parties. And at the same time, the issue of how to manage a more socially cohesive budget. But I think that the economy, unfortunately, has not been enough of a discussion in this election. In fact, if you look at the 110 points that Mr. Sanchez presented as his manifesto, there's very little about the economy there.
Interesting. And as you say, he has the tough job now of getting a coalition together. We'll see how that goes. Daniel Lacalle in Madrid, thank you again for your time.